Good morning, Metro Detroit. It's Kerry Leon Jackson, your urban conservative. How are you this morning? Time now is just after 6 o'clock in the morning. If you've got to be there by 7 o'clock, you've got 1 hour to get there. You're listening to 910 a.m. Superstation, Metro Detroit's only urban talk radio station. The number here in the studio is 313-778-7600. 313-778-7600. Yeah, I know in a minute some of you are going to tell me about the Facebook feed not working. Now, listen, as always, if my feed's not working, you always have the option of going to the station's feed to look, or you can also tune in to Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. That's why we always have a backup available for you, no matter what happens. You always have that option of deciding that you can switch over if one thing's not working. There's always a backup. There's always going to be a backup. I sound. Let me see that again, Jalen. I sound what? Give me a second. I've got to find Jalen's message. How about now, brother? How does it sound? Tell me, does that sound any better?
You sound good.
There we go. 313-778-7600. So, seen a couple of stories. Today, I want to talk about you always hear people using this phrase that said, you always hear them with that police officers should be able to defend themselves when they are at work. They should always have the ability, because at the end of the day, you want them to be able to get home safely. I've heard it thousands of times, not just hundreds, but literally thousands of times. There's been somebody saying, that police should be allowed to carry a deadly weapon, defend themselves whenever they feel like they're in danger. They should be allowed because you want them to get home safe at the end of the day. And if y'all have been listening to me for a while, you've heard me complain and say, yeah, well, I think other people should be allowed to get home safe at the end of the day. The question that I want to talk about today is those other people, the other folks who work in an environment that might actually be dangerous. Not might be dangerous, it is dangerous, particularly if you're a school teacher, or not just a school teacher, if you're a school teacher in an inner city, an urban school. Actually, I think that we've had enough school shootings that we now can expand that to not just in an urban setting, but whether you're a school teacher, period, wherever you happen to be a school teacher at in America. I think you've got the right to at least, and now this is Kerry's opinion, y'all hear that little disclaimer that they play at the beginning of every show. I think that you should have the right to get home safe at the end of every day. We've seen instances, and I shared a story the other day about a young lady that's been sentenced to a year in the lockup because she brutally attacked a school teacher. One of my friends that I went to high school with happens to work as a security professional in a local high school. And it's a crazy school. It's not, this is a normal, regular public school. This is not one of those where they send kids when they kick them out of the good school and they send them to, it's not a school for troubled children. It's a regular, everyday, open public school. And there are fights and all sorts of violent activity in that building on a regular basis every day. Those of you who live here in the city of Detroit know that there have been certain places that you know good and well that when you go to that place, it's a war zone. You know good and well that you're going to have some sort of battles. And nowadays, the kids are not small, and especially if it's a high school, some of them are not as big. They not just as big as the teachers, but a lot bigger than the teachers. And so if they get into a physical altercation, the teachers or the employees in that school, they're going to wind up hurt. And I think that they should have the opportunity to get home safe at the end of the day. If you work in an environment that is, unfortunately, now we gotten to the point where a lot of folks say, well, this place or that place really should be, it should be off limits to danger. It should be a safe place where you can go and not have to worry about things happening to you. I agree with you. There are those places. Unfortunately, a lot of those places have now gotten to the point where they're full of danger every single day. And we've seen in the news in the last couple of weeks several different stories of employees who, quite frankly, and probably rightfully so, feared for their safety. And so they decided to carry a gun. And even though they had taken the extra added step of going out and you know how for the last several years we've had this push to have everybody go out and take these handgun safety classes so that you can apply for and get a license to carry a concealed weapon. Apparently, there are certain places that they've made them handgun free zones where even if you've got a concealed weapon permit where they don't want you carrying a gun. Schools are one of those places. So we've got two different cases where there was an employee. One, you've all seen it inside of Detroit High School, who had a weapon in a bag that he was carrying for his own safety. And the gun fell out on, and the students saw it, and somebody ran and told, because that's what we tell you you're supposed to do whenever you see a gun in school. Man gets arrested. Man is being prosecuted by the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office because he had a gun inside of a school. It's another case where a month ago, it was another case where during one of those little drills that they do, like they did down here yesterday, there was one of those drills outside of a psychiatric hospital for teens. That's the place that you send all of the troubled, violent people. It's a psychiatric hospital for teens, and one of the employees, listen, he didn't have the gun on his waist and walking around like, he was sheriff or, a deputy Barney Fife or anything. Handgun was inside his car. Handgun was inside his car, and they were able to see it because there was extra added police officers there because they were doing these little safety drills. Man gets in trouble because he's got a gun in a place that they don't really want you to have guns. The only people they want to have guns there are police. When the police respond, and we already know, that the only thing that happens, the only time the police respond is after something dangerous has already happened. If in fact we can bury our head in the sand and talk about 50 years ago, it wasn't like this. And kids nobody carried a weapon. Yeah, they carried knives then or chains, but they didn't have guns in school at the rate that they have them now. They clearly didn't have school shootings at the rate that they have them now. Don't you think that there are certain people and certain dangerous jobs? And I hate that, one of my friends from law school said, but school's not supposed to be a dangerous place. It's not supposed to. I agree with you. Unfortunately, it is now a dangerous place. You think that if, in fact, you happen to work in one of those places where it's very, very dangerous, that you should at least, whether you have some sort of restrictions or not, maybe you should have to carry, extra added insurance. You have to go through a certain safety training class. You have to make sure that the gun is registered and everybody that all of the administration knows that you're carrying a weapon in the event that something happens, in the event that there's a school shooting and you're locked down and somebody comes into your classroom. Don't you think that there are certain people in certain jobs and I'm not just saying everybody in every job, but at least if in certain jobs that are inherently dangerous, and unfortunately schools fit into that group right now, that the people that are forced to go into that situation, they're forced to walk into the lion's den every single day, should be allowed to at least protect themselves. 313-778-7600, 313-778-7600. Want to talk to Keith. Good morning, brother. How are you?
Hey, good morning, Kerry. How are you?
Pretty good. See, y'all understand this. I could have found a way to call Keith last night and say, I need you up early. But I was like, I'm just going to start it and we're going to see if Keith chimes in. Good morning, brother. How are you?
I'm doing well, Kerry. Back when the Sandy Hook situation occurred, um, your boy Rick, who's now on the NRA board.
He's on the NRA board, and he'll probably call in a few minutes as well. Go ahead.
We had a very heated debate on Let It Rip about this very issue of teachers carrying guns and the like. And believe me, nobody wants teachers to go home safely more than I do. I mean, the 22 years that I've represented them in DFT, their safety was always at the top of my list of concerns. But there are too many unintended consequences that could arise with teachers carrying guns. Listen, we know that there are parents who come up there and they're wild and out and everything and want to jump on teachers and everything. And especially when you consider the fact that something like 78% of the teachers throughout the country are women. And not to say that women cannot defend themselves, but if somebody's coming up to jump on you, whether it's a child or it's a parent, and you know that you've got a gun, rather than getting into fights and everything, your first instinct may be to shoot that person. In your attempt to shoot that person, what if you miss and the bullet ricochets and hits a child or hits a fellow staff member or the gun is taken away from you? I certainly empathize and sympathize with the teacher over at Cody High School, who I happen to know. He is an excellent teacher. He is someone who's committed to the kids, but if I was still president of the DFT, there's no way that I could defend this because we are not allowed to bring guns onto school premises. I have had teachers who were beaten to a pulp by students and or parents. And the only thing we could do is have those people prosecuted, but I still wouldn't want those people to bring a gun into the school because there's just too many things that could go wrong, and it would all go back on the teacher.
Keith,
yeah.
Honestly, think about what you just said. Think about brother, I can't list the number of folks that I wound up representing who lost their head. Now, I understand this. You ain't going to find a more committed parent in this town than me. But these parents lost their head because the kid called and said, teacher told me I couldn't go to the bathroom and I had to pee on myself. Teacher said such and such, this reason, that reason. Whatever it is, they called their parent who was a known hothead, who the first thing the parent did is stop everything, threw caution to the wind, didn't bother to call the school and say, I need to talk to the principal. We need to resolve this sort of problem. No, they went straight for violence. They decided I'm going to go be violent with a member of the teachers union. After all of these years, after all of the incidents that you've had, teachers that if you said beat to a pulp, you honestly don't believe that they need to be safe?
Oh, no. Oh, definitely not. They definitely need to be safe, but that's where it's incumbent upon the school administration and the school district, whether it's the individual school or you're talking about the school district itself, to do everything that they can to ensure that teacher safety. But if somebody comes to jump on you and you shoot and kill them, how is the prosecution going to look at you? Are they going to look at you the same way that they look at police officers? You say that you feared for your life?
Hold on a second, Keith. I don't want to cut you off, but they playing the music. We got to take the first break of the morning. 313-778-7600, 313-778-7600. We got to take a very quick break. We'll be right back.
This report is sponsored by Wendy's $3 breakfast deal. Wendy's $3 breakfast deal is your choice of bacon or sausage, egg and Swiss croissant, plus a small seasoned potatoes for just $3. Break your morning routine and get your $3 breakfast deal today. Limited time only at participating U.S. Wendy's during breakfast hours. Balance of Nature's fruits and vegetables in a capsule. Changing the world, one life at a time.
I've had no energy. For months and months and months, I had no energy, and I'm a very active person. And my husband was noticing that I was tired all the time and I was slow at everything that I was doing. And I kept listening to the commercials. And you don't know if something's going to help you or not. But I decided this was something I was going to do. And lo and behold, in about 4 days after taking them, I was repotting plants. I was doing other things. My husband said to me, "You seem to have more energy." And I said, "Oh, yeah, I'm fine." And I'm telling you, nothing has ever made such a difference. So anyway, I'm very happy.
Right now, Balance of Nature is offering free shipping and 35% off on any new preferred order. Call 1-800-2468-751 or go to balanceofnature.com and use discount code RADIO5.
Attention! Do you owe back taxes, fines, and penalties to the IRS? The IRS now offers new relief options for taxpayers affected by COVID-19, but you can't go it alone. Call Tax Solutions now. Our team of former IRS agents and tax professionals can get you the best deal. We know the COVID-19 rules. Call us and never speak to the IRS again.
I couldn't sleep. We were being audited. I called Tax Solutions now, and a great big weight was lifted off my shoulders.
I called Tax Solutions now, and they got the IRS off my back.
Tax Solutions Now had my wage garnishment lifted in 48 hours.
The virus has caused the IRS to take extensive action to help taxpayers. So if you owe $10,000 or more, this is the best time in years to settle your tax debt.
I qualified for the Fresh Start program. I paid less than I owed.
Remember, the IRS will not give up until you pay. Call 800-683-9499. 800-683-9499. 800-683-9499.
My 38 is offering a great special that cannot be refused. Are you looking for a great deal on TV advertising? Are you searching for an avenue to get your business name out to the public? With My 38, we are offering a great special with 100 commercial ads for a great price. This offer is for a 30-day ad placement. Please contact Devin C. for more information at 248-357-4566 or email at d.calhoun@thewordnetwork.org. This excludes political ads.
The 910 AM live stream can now be seen on Apple TV, Roku, Chromecast, YouTube Red, iPhone, iPad, Android phone, Android tablet, Amazon Kindle Fire, any Windows phone, or watch us live at 910amsuperstation.com.
Welcome back, Metro Detroit. This is Kerry Leon Jackson, your urban conservative. You're listening to 910 AM Superstation, Metro Detroit's only urban talk radio station. The number in the studio is 313-778-7600, 313-778-7600. This morning, we're discussing cases where there are people who work in dangerous environments. Don't you think that those people, at the end of the day, deserve to go home safely? Keith is on the line. Keith, do me a favor. Just hold on. I don't want you to go anywhere. Give me a few minutes. I want to bring Curtis in. Good morning, Curtis. How are you?
I'm fine, sir. And good morning. And thank you for taking my call.
Oh, thank you for calling. What's on your mind, brother?
I'm not getting in the argument or the disagreement with you and Keith. This is my take on it, okay? I want everybody to listen to me and listen to me good. In your opening monologue, you made a statement that's not correct. So I have to correct you.
Go ahead.
There's nothing in the state law that says I have to carry a gun so I can come home safe. You said that, and that's not true.
Okay.
State law allows law enforcement officers to carry a gun. The state law. It's a state law. And our local laws and regional laws allows us to carry a gun or enforce laws in those jurisdictions. So it's not that I get to come home safe and you don't get to come home safe. The second thing is you, as a person, is allowed to carry one too. So a police officer is no different than an average citizen. You can apply to carry a CPL, and you're allowed to carry a gun for you to be safe. So I don't want people to think that because I'm a police officer, I have rights that you don't have. I have to follow the same rules and regulations, and I have my rights is no different than yours. If I violate your rights, if I commit a crime, I go to jail. Okay? So we are allowed to carry a gun by state law because we're licensed, just like an attorney is licensed and have a license. And to tell you the truth, our department policy has changed. When I first came on the job, you was mandated to carry your gun off duty. Now you're not. You can carry your gun. You don't have to carry your gun in Detroit. You're off duty. That's up to the option of the officer. So thank you very much. I don't want nobody to think, to make somebody think that we're above the law. We get to carry a gun to come home safe. You get to carry one too if you pass the background check. So that's all I wanted to say. And you have a nice day.
Thank you, Curtis. Now, hold on, Keith. So Curtis wants y'all to understand that police are not given, because we've had this discussion over and over again about whether the police have some sort of special protected status that gives them some sort of automatic defense whenever they wind up discharging their weapon and hitting an innocent, unarmed black person, that of course, that they are supposed to act just like normal, everyday Americans, and everybody is supposed to use common sense. Where I disagree with Curtis is it doesn't happen that way in the real world. And it's especially in the last 10 or 15 years, it's gotten horribly to the point that every single time there's a shooting, the first thing that you hear is the police union or the commanding officer of that particular officer. First thing he's doing is, don't you want him to get home safe? He feared for his life, whether it's a paraplegic that has no ability to crawl over and harm the police, whether it's a mentally ill person that has a knife and is going through an episode. No matter what the episode, no matter what happened, we've all seen it, where they turn around and the first thing out of their mouth is they've got a right to get home safe at the end of the day. I didn't make it up, and I disagree with it on a regular basis. Just want to point out, if in fact we're going to start to argue that police have the right to go home safe at the end of the day, shouldn't school teachers, y'all know my parents worked in the public and they dealt with irate members of the public every single day. Shouldn't they have the right to go home safe at the end of the day? Shouldn't they have the right or the ability to defend themselves when something goes wrong? 313-778-7600. I really don't want Keith to go anywhere, but I don't want the rest of y'all to be on hold too long. Let's go to Leona. Good morning, Leona. How are you?
Good morning. I'm fine. How are you both? I can't believe I got through on the first one.
I can believe you, because when I see the name Leona, I know that I'm happy that she's healthy and that she's alert and she's listening and wants to take part. What's on your mind this day?
Okay. Now, I agree that we all want to go home safely. But if your gun is registered, we're not talking about law-abiding citizens. If you don't have a registered gun, then you shouldn't be carrying one. And in the school system, they supposedly have metal detectors. So if the school, Cody High had one, or do they have one, are the staff mandated to go through the metal detector? And but in the school system, there's a gun-free zone. You're not supposed to carry a gun because although you have a license and everything. And then I would like to ask Mr. Keith, the public system always had a police officers as security guards. The schools still have those people on staff?
Keith, you want to answer it?
Yeah, Ms. Leona brings up a very good point, and I will submit to you that I believe in the aftermath of this situation at Cody, that the district is likely to start making teachers go through the metal detectors as well. Right now, teachers are not required to go through the metal detectors. In some schools, they do it, but it's not a mandate from the district. But I would suspect that is going to change. And Carrie, let me say one other thing. I think that the potential for violence we have seen can occur anywhere. We've seen beauty salons shot up. We've seen Family Dollar stores shot up. seen just about every place imaginable shot up. So there's always the potential for someone not to be able to make it home safely. And I mean, that's an indictment against us as a society. My other concern with regard to teachers is I'm not confident that a school district, whether it's Detroit or anywhere else, would represent and indemnify a teacher who, by happenstance, accidentally shot a kid or somebody else. So like I said, there's some unintended consequences that could occur, which deter me from being in support of teachers carrying guns to school.
Okay. Thanks for calling this morning, Ms. Leona.
All right, thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you. Let's go.
Leona.
Let's go to Fernando. Good morning, Fernando. How are you?
Good morning, Kerry, and thank you for taking my call. I think Keith has a very strong argument, and for the most part, he has identified the liabilities, and he has also stated the consequences of what could happen. And I thought that was a very good point that he brought up about the teacher having a gun, and it came out of their briefcase. Suppose he didn't see it, and suppose another student found it and picked that firearm up and didn't use that firearm. So I just think that when I listen to him and listen to the points that he makes, I think that it's very sensible to follow that guideline. And then too, once you get all the teachers armed, or teachers, all of them are armed and different things like this, then is it really school, or is it a armed enforcement camp? So I think Keith held his argument really good, and he brought up some very good points.
Fernando, let me ask you a question though. But I wish we still lived in a society where the school was safe all of the time. The problem is we don't live in that society anymore. These folks are in danger when they go to work every day.
But once again, Jerry, if you're working in a school system and you understand the laws or the things that's been implemented in that educational system, then I think that if you're going to work there, then I think that you have to follow the guidelines, Jerry.
And when they wind up being, let's use Keith's words, beat to a pulp, what are we just going to do? Give them thoughts and prayers and wait and hope it doesn't happen again tomorrow, which, by the way, it's going to happen again tomorrow?
That's when we find good lawyers like you to prosecute those people that commit those crimes. Jerry.
Yeah, but I personally, I think we got to figure out something other than let's just keep doing things the way we've been doing them. That's the thing. Thanks for calling this morning, brother. Let's go to Larry. Good morning, Larry. How are you?
I'm fine, sir. Kerry, it's very unfortunate that individuals are exercising their right to bear arms, which is a constitutional right, and it is a personal right for individuals to be reduced self. For us to continue to have this issue about gun-free zones and whether or not you have a right to carry your gun within your job or your employment, when there's serious issues that are going on in the school, I have a right to protect myself. I have a right to protect, and I should not be dependent on a school policy or a type of a policy that they're coming up with. They're going to have a lot of problems with this once these issues get through the Supreme Court, and I think that's what's going to have to happen, because individuals who are Second Amendment right gun owners, and we have a right to protect ourselves, and that right is not limited to some type of ordinance or laws that they want to arrange. Because no matter where I'm at, no matter where my travel goes throughout the day or throughout life, I have a right to protect myself and that of my family, and that does not limit, how I go about doing that. And
I got you. They're playing the music. I got to go to break, brother. Thanks for calling this morning. 313-778-7600. It's a very quick break. We'll be right back.
Have you thought about advertising your business on our 9 10 a.m. superstation? Our audience is bigger than ever, and your investment will be lower than ever. Find out how you can grow your business. Give us a call during business hours and ask for Henry, 248-357-4566. We will tell your story, and more folks than ever before will come to your door. 248-357-4566. Ask for Henry. The super audience at our 910 Superstation wants to hear about you. Call now. The all-new 910 Superstation is your number one source for urban talk radio. If you're looking for the best in radio programming, look no further. You can now listen in on a multitude of audio platforms. We're on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Buzzsprout, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Listen Notes, and coming soon to Amazon Music, Goodpods, and Overcast. 910 AM Superstation, the largest, strongest, 50,000 watt urban radio station in town. 910 AM Superstation has the greatest advertising deal ever with our Godfather package. 100 spots for $600 with a must-air within 30-day policy, and we will even produce the spots free. That's right, free. Call Devin C. now at 248-357-4566. That's 248-357-4566. Or email at d.calhoun@thewordnetwork.org. This excludes political ads.
WADL gets a facelift and is now My 38 Detroit. Along with a facelift comes new programming. On Mondays at 8 p.m., catch a 2-hour block of Law and Order SVU. Tuesdays, Chicago Fire. Wednesdays, Dateline. More Dateline and Chicago PD on Thursdays and on Fridays. You'll get more Chicago PD to start your weekend. We'll still have some of your favorite shows like Mom, Blackish, and Friends. Just adding more for you to enjoy on My 38. The Word Network has been broadcasting inspirational messages around the world since the year 2000, and we keep getting bigger and better and more innovative. Seen all around the world, we bring you the best teaching, impartation, singing, and inspiration.
313-778-7600.
We have that too. The Word Network is your exclusive source for all things inspiration, and we can be found on every device imaginable. If you want to be uplifted and inspired, you need the Word Network.
My 38 is offering a great special that cannot be refused. Are you looking for a great deal on TV advertising? Are you searching for an avenue to get your business name out to the public? With My 38, we are offering a great special with 100 commercial ads for a great price. This offer is for a 30-day ad placement. Please contact Devin C. for more information at 248-357-4566 or email at d.calhoun@thewordnetwork.org. This excludes political ads.
Good morning once again, Metro Detroit. This is Kerry Leon Jackson, your urban conservative. Listen to 910 AM Superstation, Metro Detroit's only urban talk radio station. The number here in the studio is 313-778-7600. I'm going to get me a great big sign made that goes behind my head that has the phone number on it, because every day we get these folks saying, wait a minute, I want to call. The number's 313-778-7600. Listen, not just school teachers are not the only people who are put into a dangerous situation every single day. And institutions and employers have decided that they're going to try and figure out a way to separate members of the public, because members of the public might be irate, from actually interacting with human beings, because people sometimes are hotheads. Sometimes they are angry. Sometimes there are situations, especially when it comes to their money, where the last thing that you want to do, you don't want to interact with them in public, because you know good well you're going to wind up pushing those buttons that make them angry and make them snap. So I although we've spent a half an hour talking just about actually so much only about one situation that involves a Detroit public school teacher, there are other situations and other places where people have to get up every single day and they've got to go to work, and it's a dangerous environment. Don't you think that those people should at least have the right to defend themselves? I appreciate, and for those of y'all that don't know who Keith is, Keith gave, because I see some comments from folks that might not agree with him, but they don't know his background. Keith, tell us how long you were in the position you were in, that hopefully you're supposed to be retired and being retired, but as we can tell, you still are very passionate about the people that you represented for years.
Years in Detroit I spent 37 years in Detroit Public Schools, 15 as a high school teacher, and then 22 in union leadership, including 8 as president of the Detroit Federation of Teachers. So, you know, I speak from a background of experience in this area. And if I may, Carrie, 2 things I want to point out. To Larry's point, we have to remember that the Second Amendment right to bear arms is not absolute. There are certain conditions that you have to be able to meet in order to bear arms, especially when you're talking about carrying a concealed weapon. The other thing is, in this situation at Cody, what if when that gun fell out of Mr. Howard's bag, what if it had discharged and it had hit a child? Then we would certainly be castigating that teacher and castigating the school district and everything. And that's one of the unintended consequences to which I was referring. You're absolutely right. We all have a right and an expectation when we leave home to go to work, whatever job we have a right to expect to get home safely. But unfortunately, we live in a society in which people, out of anger, out of frustration, or just for the hell of it, will decide that your life is not worth living and will take it from you. And I don't know that arming teachers with guns is the most effective way for us to address that. I mean, look, I told teachers, you know, when I met with them, if a parent comes up to you or a student comes up to you trying to injure you, you have a right to open up that can. And you know what can, the wolf can that I'm talking about. Yeah. You don't have to stand there and take a beating from anyone or anyone even attempting to beat you. But I just don't think that guns are the answer, not only in schools, but in our society. They seem to be our first layer of defense. And I think that's part of our problem.
313-778-7600. Let's talk to Daniel. Is it Daniel or Danielle?
Good morning, Carrie.
Good morning.
I disagree. Let me tell you why.
You disagree with who? You disagree with me? You disagree with Keith?
Mr. Keith. And here's why. Because I've worked in Detroit Public Schools for 8 years in my earlier adulthood. When I went back, I was just totally shocked at the difference. You got parents coming up to the schools trying to fight the kids. You got parents coming up to schools with guns. That's the reality, okay? And you have parents that don't want to tell their kids they wrong for socking teachers in the eye or picking up desks and hitting the kids. Hitting the teachers. You want to know why you don't have enough teachers in the public school system or across the country at that? You cannot foster a mentality of disrespect. The stuff that I see sometimes, I would have never thought about doing that to Stanley Cleveland, Ruth Smith, Denise White, all of my teachers at Blackwell, Marcus Garvey Academy, because they would have definitely gave me a can of that whoop. And I don't think that arming at least one, I'm not saying every teacher got to have a gun, but arming somebody and training them in case of emergency, I don't think that's wrong. I don't, because guess what? You got kids coming in there trying to bring guns into the school. Thank God for the professionalism of our staff. But the reality is you have issues going on. So to tell people, oh yeah, you got a right to live come home and live and to survive a day of work, what are we doing here? They need some real police officers in some of these schools.
They have real police officers, and they might not have enough. But that's a whole nother conversation on whether or not if you put a cop on every corner, is they gonna stop the crime? No.
It probably won't, but let me tell you, you don't want one thing for sure, and I'm so glad because I pray every morning that the safety of our Detroit Public School kids, the baby, Oxford, what's the other one? Calabash, Stony Brook. What if I was here? We have problems getting children to school in Detroit public schools now. But you imagine the illiteracy rate if there was a actual shooting in the Detroit public school. That teacher is scared for their life. I hope that the teachers union can get the teacher's job back. Maybe he needs to be put on probation. But I just don't feel like any teacher that feels like they have to carry a weapon to school, any teacher, give them a pat on the wrist. Give them some probation. Don't take their job away.
Thank you for calling, Danielle. 313-778-7600. Let's talk to Percy. Good morning, Percy.
Good morning.
What's on your mind, brother?
We do it over and over and over again. We can't handle arming ourselves around general public. Sometimes we're going down a rabbit hole that's not working. And I mean, just across the river, they do not have this problem. Why? Because of their gun policy.
They don't have the problem in Canada because of the gun policy. I agree. But we've got the problem here, and there are teachers who are leaving out. There are school employees that are leaving out right now, getting in their car, driving to some private or public institution, and there are some people that are the hotheads. There are some parents who've not learned conflict resolution, that we've got this problem. What are we going to wind up doing? Tell me.
I just told you, we got to put in policies where we can't walk around the general public arming up there.
Percy, that's your call whenever we have to talk. But who should be armed? Honestly, Percy, who do you believe should be armed? You don't want them carrying the weapon where it's not concealed, where they're carrying it out in the public. Today, you don't want them having them in the schools. Is there any situation where you believe folks should be armed?
Yeah, our public, our safety protection positions are the ones who should have the gun. From general homeowners who walk around general public with their attitude.
Should a nurse or a doctor that works in a hospital right in the heart of an urban area where people are hotheads and upset all of the time, should they be allowed to defend themselves or have a gun with them at work?
Scared. Are we proving that that's not working?
What we're proving is there are guns out there and people get shot somewhere in the community every day. So
that Canadians have funky attitudes too. Are they having the gun cases and the killings like we are having in our country?
They don't have the guns that we have in our country. I agree with you on that.
Because they tell you got to keep your gun in your home. If you go on hunting, you go into a rifle range, that's where you're going to have a gun. Walking around the general public, if you're not any protective agency for the general homeowner and public to walk around among each other, they don't allow it. And it's working. Let's face it, we have to be the adults in the room and do this thing to arm down.
Percy, the only way we're going to achieve what you want to achieve and be like Canada is to reverse the Second Amendment. That's it. And then we've got to stop, because all of these guns that are on the street are not made in our country. Most of them are not made here anyway. So we can't later on attack it. But what about today? What about those folks who are on their way to work right now?
You got to start somewhere. You put in a policy. Now, how many closed bumpers do you see on the car now? Do you know why? Because you can't buy them. Make it so it's not available to buy.
Okay, 313-778-7600. We got to take a break. We'll be right back.
Did you know most vitamin supplements don't even come from food? Even the products with colorful fruits and vegetables adorning the labels are seldom derived from produce. Typically, supplements are synthetic, made in a laboratory. Modern science may synthetically imitate these chemicals, but your body isn't fooled. It knows the difference, and it craves quality materials to build, repair, and fight illness. You need to consume fruits and vegetables daily in a variety of colors, as well as whole grains and other fresh food. That's why I formulated Balance of Nature. I wanted to be able to give my patients a natural alternative to the cheap, unnatural chemistry by giving them real fruits and vegetables. In fact, the only ingredients inside a Balance of Nature are whole fruits and vegetables. Don't settle for imitation nutrition. Reach for the good stuff, the real stuff.
Call 1-800-246-8751 or go to balanceofnature.com to get 35% off your first preferred order by using discount code RADIO5.
Do you have an idea for an invention or new product? Do you think companies would be interested in your idea? Do you want to try to get a patent? Then call InventHelp now. InventHelp keeps your idea confidential and explains every step of the invention process. We create professional materials representing your idea and submit it to companies who are looking for new ideas. We have more than 9,000 companies who've agreed to review ideas in confidence. If a company shows interest in manufacturing your invention, we can negotiate on your behalf. We have helped over 10,000 clients receive patents. We also offer services including 3D modeling and animation demonstrating your idea, prototyping services, and we use state-of-the-art technology to show InventHelp client ideas to additional companies. Join the thousands of people just like you who chose InventHelp to pursue their idea. We are experienced. We are working for you. We are InventHelp.
Call us for free information at 1-800-460-1663. That's 1-800-460-1663. Again, 1-800-460-1663.
Balance of Nature's fruits and vegetables in a capsule, changing the world one life at a time.
I had no energy for months and months and months. I had no energy, and I'm a very active person. And my husband was noticing that I was tired all the time, and I was slow at everything that I was doing. And I kept listening to the commercials, and you don't know if something's going to help you or not. But I decided this was something I was going to do. And lo and behold, in about 4 days to taking them, I was repotting plants. I was doing other things. My husband said to me, "You seem to have more energy." And I said, "Oh, yeah, I'm fine." And I'm telling you, nothing has ever made such a difference. So anyway, I'm very happy.
Right now, Balance of Nature is offering free shipping and 35% off on any new preferred order. Call 1-800-2468-751 or go to balanceofnature.com and use discount code RADIO5.
Welcome back, Metro Detroit. It's Kerry Leon Jackson, your urban conservative. Let's see how many more of these callers. Y'all know that we're not going to get to all of them, but I'm going to try. Let's see how many callers we can get to. Let's go to Sharon. Good morning, Sharon. How are you?
Good morning, Kerry. How are you? Long time no talk to.
I'm here every morning. Good
I'm
morning.
listening every morning, too.
All
I
right.
love your show.
Thank you. What's on your mind today?
Listen, we take every opportunity we can to shine a negative light on our children, and that's the problem we have. When was the last time you heard anything happening in Detroit public schools with a student or a parent harming a teacher? If it happened in DPS, it would be on the media on a roof. This teacher could have been a serious gambler, and his bookie threatened him. We don't know why he brought that gun or was carrying an illegal weapon, but we take every opportunity to denigrate our children, and that's the problem that we have in Detroit.
Okay. Sherrod wants to live in a world where we don't talk about if there's a problem in Detroit. And that's not the subject today anyway. The subject is, if in fact, let's set that part aside for a minute, okay? My question still, I asked, now, I know that there's one hospital, there's 2 or 3 hospitals I can think of that you can't just walk into the hospital without being searched by security. Other than those 3 that I could list off the top of my head, the rest of them, soft targets all the time. Anybody can walk in there any way that they want to. When in fact you're dealing with, and I promise you that the security at those places has had to deal with folks who get upset because they think you're not taking care of their loved one right, the other stuff. My question is, if in fact there are people who go to work in inherently dangerous situations every day, I'm not talking about a garbage collector. There should not be a reason, then probably somebody will call me in a minute with a story, but there shouldn't be a reason for somebody who's collecting trash on a daily basis to walk around strapped. I get you that there are some jobs we shouldn't have to worry about. But clearly, there are people that work in Coney Island who feel like I need to have a gun every day. There are plenty of people that work in gas stations that feel like I need to have a gun every day. Clearly, even Uber and Lyft drivers who don't take cash get robbed and shot on a regular basis. I agree with Percy that there are too many guns on the street. We can cure that problem another day. But until then, when we've got these people who are sitting ducks waiting for somebody to decide that they're going to lose their temper on them, shouldn't the folks that go to work every day be allowed to defend themselves? That's the question.
So you think it. And I'm saying if that's the case in DPS, it would be in the media on a loop. But we keep putting that out
So
there.
let's assume that we're not talking about DPS. If you're in any of those other situations, should the people who are going to work simply trying to do their job, should they be allowed to carry a weapon to defend themselves in the event that they need to, so that they can go home safe at the end of the day?
Well, I don't know, because that could be in any situation. I mean, you just fear going to work at a church. So,
And we've had, unfortunately, to have to up the security and train security personnel at churches because there are nuts on the street, and some of those nuts get a gun. I agree with you. But if, in fact, here's the easiest question. If you're a minister, should a minister be allowed to walk around packing heat? If he's a judge he or she is a judge in a very, very well-protected courthouse or unprotected courthouse, should they be allowed to walk around packing heat? Should you, if you work in the unemployment office or in the public assistance office, should those people be allowed to walk around packing heat? Should they?
Carrie, my issue is when I'm listening on this side, so you're on that side presenting, I'm listening on this side. It always devolves into a denigration of our children. We don't know why that man brought that gun. Like I said, he could be a serious gambler. Teachers are not angels. And somebody could have threatened him because he didn't pay his bill. I don't know why he brought that gun.
I got you. It's 6:52. Let me see if I can get at least two more callers in. Thanks for that. Let's go to Kenny. Good morning, Kenny.
Good morning, Terry.
All right. What's on your mind?
I'm carrying mine. I don't care what they say. I'm going to have mine.
Now, wait, did y'all hear Kenny? And Kenny has had violence visit his family on more than one occasion. Tragically.
Here's my family members. My granddaughter that they killed for violence, my daughter, and my brother, the younger brother under me. And, people say that, but how many police ain't going to be there on top? They ain't going to be there to protect. They say what they want. But this is where society is today. You have to protect yourself. Because you only can save you have to save yourself. Because we don't have enough security, don't have enough police out there. You know yourself, Terry. You're not going to play with them, man. You're going to protect you and your family. And it ain't always being at the house. So you have to come out the house. You go places. Stuff go down in certain places. Let's keep it real, man. Canada, like you said, I like what you were saying. I'm not going to hold you up, but I like what you were saying. I'm going to continue to listen, but I'm going to hold on tonight.
Thank you. All right. Thank you.
All right.
Keith, I appreciate you for getting up, brother, and for joining us. I tell you, the two people that I had in mind when I picked the topic, I said, I wonder what Keith's going to say. I wonder what Rick's going to say. Rick texted me last night. Obviously, he didn't make it onto the show this morning. But those two immediately came to mind when I thought about the subject last night. So I appreciate you for getting up and for joining us and hanging out with us this morning. We love you for that, brother.
My pleasure, Terry. I'm always listening.
And brother, we want you to actually be retired at some point. I want you to rest. And you've given it all your all. So I need you to retire and be safe.
Well, I told you, the airport made me an offer I couldn't refuse, Gary. So I figure I'll do this for about 3 more years, and then I'll be retired for good.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see in 3 years. Retired for good. All right. I don't know what retired for good is, but we'll find out. Thanks for calling this morning. All right, y'all. I'm out of time. Next up is State Representative Joel Jones. Either here or a member of the foundation will be here to bring you information and inspiration from 7 to 9, followed by Attorney Anthony Adams from 9 to 11. It's still that wake up with the frost freeze warning in the morning and warm up to about 50 something later in the day. Y'all just wear a jacket and a sweater, get out, enjoy yourself, have a great day. Keisha and I will be here with you talking about struggle love tomorrow. Should you actually wind up getting in those relationships? Well, you're going to wind up having a struggle sometimes. Tune in to us tomorrow morning at 6 o'clock. Y'all go out, have a great day. We'll talk to each and every one of you tomorrow.